Welcome back to the regular podcast. It's anything but. With the release of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, we have 7 MCU Phase 4 films. So we're here to rank them on the regular podcast here. Who wants to go first for number 7? Let's just
You
get
go
right into it.
first. You go first. I
Go
want to hear
first.
it. I want to hear your cap. I already know what it is.
All right, bro. Number 7, Thor: Love and Thunder. Not funny. Not. Yeah, I just don't like this movie, bro. It's not funny, not entertaining. It takes everything good about Ragnarok and just ups it to 100 and just not good. It feels like this is just the first draft of the movie, and Marvel was like, okay, yeah, Taika, just because you did good with Ragnarok, I give you everything. So yeah, that's how I feel. It just feels the script just feels like a first draft. It's not funny. It's just not.
Feel like a
If the
first
movie would have
draft.
made me laugh, yes. If the movie would have made me laugh, then yeah, I would have gave it points, but it didn't. So yeah, is what it is. Thor: Love and Thunder, number 7 for me.
All right, coming in with the movie
What's
that actually deserves to be at number 7 is Black Widow.
Black Widow?
Black
Oh
Widow is
God.
trash. That movie's so bad. The movie was just unnecessary. This movie should have came out years ago. Years ago. This movie I just didn't care about it. Her story had already reached its climax and its end. And then it takes one of my favorite characters, Taskmaster, one of the worst interpretations of a villain in the MCU. Then you have Yelena, which is a fun introduction to a character, but it just felt ultimately pointless. Like Black Widow, unfortunately, just felt like a movie that did not need to be made, but they did, and it just was not that good. That's why Black Widow is at number 7, and it's gonna stay there.
Okay, okay. What about you, Davis?
My number 7 is the same as Black Widow. Black Widow is one of those movies where um it just didn't need to exist. And I really just don't care about it at all. And like Jonathan was saying, the fact that they messed up Taskmaster so bad really just ruined this movie for me. And then also, one thing I do love about this movie though is that infamous CGI scene. That's about the only thing I completely love about this movie.
The
But
what?
Just
I
because you want to make fun? No, 'cause you just want to
yeah,
make fun
The
of the
CGI.
CGI.
it's
CGI
it's
is
it's
trash.
hilarious. But yeah, I pretty much have all the same issues with the film that Jonathan has. I'm not gonna repeat it all, but um, main thing for me is Taskmaster because I was looking so forward to him.
Hmm. Her, you mean?
The
Shut up.
problem isn't even that they made Taskmaster a girl; it's just it wasn't a good character.
Yeah, I've been saying that since last year. It just wasn't a good character. But for my number 6, coming in at number 6 for me, has got to go to Eternals. I actually really liked this movie when I first watched it. I don't get the hate from it. Like a lot of people hate it. It's the worst rated Marvel movie on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't believe that. I think Thor: Love and Thunder kind of deserves that spot anyway.
Full
But
of crap.
no,
Yeah, I
bro,
yeah. No, shut up.
Eternals is better than
You
Love and
just eating,
Thunder.
bruh.
That's
Eternals was
mad.
an
That's
Come on
mad
ambitious
now.
Chen. Or
and
deserves the lowest
Eternals
rating.
was an
Out of here.
W chat.
Eternals was the most ambitious MCU film, and I think for really it took that ambition to great lengths. Honestly, I think the only negative that I really have with it is the fact that I wish I would have gotten more from the characters. So this is the one case where they should have made it a Disney Plus series instead of a movie. But other than that, gorgeous looking movie, man. I really like Eternals.
Well, coming in at my number 6 is also Eternals, which actually really saddens me because I
But
wanted to put Eternals way higher. I mean,
that's
there's only 7, but I did because I really enjoyed Eternals. To this day, I still enjoy Eternals, but I have not watched Eternals since the week it came out. The movie
really
does well those first 1 or 2 watches, but the more you watch it, it just kind of loses its luster. Like the movie is really good, but the thing is, it feels kind of boring because it's just slow.
I agree.
But the movie is really good. All the Eternals are really cool. Their powers are interesting, and it really feels like there's some completely different mythos. But it's just I don't know. It's not here because I don't have anything wrong with it. It's just I liked all the other things over this way more.
Okay,
My number 6 is also Eternals.
I knew it was gonna have it all the same.
Um, for me, this movie is like it's missing a piece of something. Um, I mean, it's supposed to be a Marvel movie, but I just feel like it lacks the essence of Marvel, which I know I talk about a lot. Um, but the characters, I mean, they're fine, I guess. I never really cared about the Eternals to begin with. I don't have any interest other than the main Marvel characters or at least the ones that I know about. So I was interested going to see Eternals for the first time, but sadly I was disappointed.
Mm.
And I really don't have I don't have a hate for Eternals, but I don't have really a like for it either. But I will watch their next film.
If they even
Yeah, if
get
they
one.
get him, yeah, that's what I'm saying. If they get one. Uh,
That's funny.
Number five for me, Black Widow. I love this movie. I think Love and Thunder and Eternals, movies that I don't like and really like, to Black Widow and above, I love all of those movies. So Black Widow, bro, come, it's the first MCU film in theaters since Far From Home for 2 years. Like, come on, like it was entertaining. Black Widow was entertaining. Like, it was a fun spy thriller.
Wasn't.
Like, it, bro, it was a fun spy thriller. You know, it had the comedy, but coming out of the
Better.
characters, but also they played some of the stuff very seriously. I really like Black Widow, man. Not really like, I love Black Widow. And when I rewatched Black Widow the other week, I was like, yo, this is a great movie. I The CGI, yeah, whatever. Taskmaster, yeah, I get it. It was just a bad character. There's nothing wrong with the gender swap of it. And Dreykov just wasn't a good villain, and the Red Room stuff was trash. But everything else, the action, the spy thriller aspects, all of it, I really like, man. It was just solid to me. But that's it. Black Widow, number five.
It was about as solid as water. Coming in as number five is Thor: Love and Thunder. See, now we got a lot of people like Sterling, for example, that really just like to hate this movie for no
Yeah,
reason. For no reason. I'm pretty sure he's chatting right now. You know, I had to mute him for this Thor section, but Thor was funny. Thor was
it was a
fun.
solid
It was
movie.
such a fun movie. Like just going in from like the first 10 minutes. Like yeah, the main thing that I came out of this movie really disliking was how they did gore. Gore the God Butcher was a character I was
Mm.
really excited for Thor to face, and I was hoping they kind of would have taken Gore more seriously. But Gore, he was just out of place in me. But everything else, I really love the dynamic between Thor and Jane, which is surprising because I hated Jane. Like I really did not like Jane, and I did not like the thought of her becoming a Thor. But no, I felt in the movie it was handled really well. The whole story with her having cancer and eventually having to pass on. Then you just have Thor. He has to like kind of choose between Stormbreaker and then Mjolnir. I thought all that was really funny. The movie was just fun, but it was kind of surface value fun. Like, yeah, it did lack deeper themes, but ultimately it was a fun movie. I'm glad I watched it.
For my number five, I also have Thor: Love and Thunder.
Bro, come on, bro.
My my main issue with this movie is obviously Gore the God Butcher was butchered. Um, not enough
Ah,
screen time,
boo. Flame
not
punch.
enough screen
Flame.
time, not enough fights. I just wanted to see way more of him because from what people had told me that Gore was a cool character, so I was looking forward to it. But for him to have that little screen time, I just feel like he was barely even a villain.
Yeah.
Um, but the highlights of the movie, the comedy was great. I love the stupid Thor humor because when it's not stupid humor is always the humor that gets me. If it's like a real joke, I'm probably not gonna laugh at it. But that's one reason why I love this movie. And then also the black and white fight, that is one of the coolest things I've seen
Now that was a
from Marvel
positive
in a
in the
while.
movie. That was very
That was very great.
awesome.
And I wish that they gave us more of that, but sadly that's not how it turned out. But that is why Thor: Love and Thunder is at my number five.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I agree with y'all on the gore and the black and white fight as well. But Thor's a parody of himself inside of this movie. It's embarrassing. Number four, Shang-Chi and the Legends of the Ten Rings. Uh,
Man was just built to have bad takes.
oh my god, bro! Shang-Chi and the Legends of the Ten Rings. Oh my, entertaining movie. I love ninjas. I love samurai. I love martial arts. I've always was entertained by martial arts movies and TV shows, and like a martial artist inside of the MCU. Come on, sign me up. So when I see Shang-Chi, when I get word of this, when I'm watching the trailer every day and I get to go see the movie, it's like, bro, this is like the best thing ever. And which it was. It was an awesome experience. I love the dynamics between Wenwu and Shang-Chi. I love the action, all of it. The hand-to-hand combat was great. I just think one of my negatives is the third act because they go so far into fantasy, whereas I was getting used to the hand-to-hand combat scenes in the first two acts. Not to say that the movie isn't great; it's really great. I want to see more of Shang Chi. You know, I just was like, I watched it, and even though on my rewatches the second act does get a little bit slow for me, I still have a fun time with it. But other than that, I probably wouldn't rewatch this movie just on a regular basis. But Shang-Chi is a good movie. Funny, action is great, all of it. Just a great one. Just a great movie.
Coming in my number four is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Now, this movie, I honestly was considering putting it lower because of how disappointed I felt watching after this movie. Like, like I was sitting in the theater, you guys to the right and left me, everybody just loving this movie, laughing at the jokes and everything, and I was just sat there, like I just sat there, like I was like, this is not madness at all. Like you had the, I think this movie really only did the bare minimum of the multiverse of madness stuff that the title promises, but just the movie just like they didn't really do much in terms of the multiverse. It just kind of like they went to like one different universe, maybe two. I can't really remember. And then you have,
Too.
I feel like this movie really just depowered everyone else to give Wanda to make her seem like a huge, like she has way this much power, which is cool because I like how much power Wanda has in this movie. She's one of the best things to come out of this movie as a villain. But everyone else just getting depowered, especially you have Mr. Fantastic. Okay, that's fair. Makes sense. All he does is stretch. But you make him just give away what Black Bolt does and he's the smartest man alive. Then you have Black Bolt, supposed to be super strong, gets destroyed immediately. Professor X loses in a mind battle to Wanda. And then for some reason you have Captain Carter and the other Cat Marvel on the team, like, and then they just don't do anything. Like, I feel like they're there just to have them as a cameo. And then everything else that was pretty good about this movie, I like the gore. I like Sam Raimi's, some of the shots in this movie and how different it feels. That's one of the biggest pluses of the movie. But it just felt surface value, just kind of mid, if I must say. That's why I have it at number four.
My number four is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of
My
Madness.
God, bruh.
Back to
Y'all
back
just
to back
ride
to
each
back.
other, bro.
Well, I guarantee these next three we're not gonna have the same.
We
Um,
probably will.
Yeah,
um,
we probably.
this movie, I mean, I was very, very hyped to see it, only because of the X-Men stuff, and I think I was surprised that it was better than people had been saying it was, because I remember at first the movie was getting trashed. Um, I feel like the main highlights of this movie is mainly just the multiverse itself.
What
Nothing else really
multiverse?
stands out. Nothing else really stands out other than that the very small multiverse that they kind of show a little bit of. But I feel like this movie would just kind of exists to give us another pathway for more Doctor Strange stuff. So I feel like even though this is above the previous movies, I still did like the fight scenes, and I love the cameos, of course. But the side characters and stuff, especially I already forget her name, America Chavez. I really don't care. And then Scarlet Witch, um, sure. And that's all I can really say about this. But I did enjoy it better than the previous three.
Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. This whole movie was multiverse, but I mean, I wish they would have showed us more multiversal worlds because they showed us Crayon World, Paint World, and then we get a world where like the pieces balls and like they go on red and everything like that. But I mean, Sam Raimi's direction of this movie interesting. It's great. I love the fluidity of the camera work. All of it was great. Wanda, especially one of the best MCU villains, in my opinion. I feel like her being powerful is reasonable, and honestly, her being a villain was always like she was always established as a villain. So this was just a natural progression of her character, and as it being a character study of Doctor Strange, asking the question, "Is he happy?" And I love that. I love that question. It still sticks with me today. Like, yes, are these heroes happy? We should ask these heroes that type of question. The gore of it was amazing. Just all of it is just weird and wacky and just falls along the lines of Doctor Strange. It's not better than the first movie because that movie had more sorcery. But as of right now, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness is number three for me.
Getting off my top three, number three, this gotta go to Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi, just watching this movie, that was like the first like actual like breath of fresh air. Like something was, it was so nice just seeing them kick into the first fighting scene. And you have almost no cuts. It's a steady cam, and that's what this movie. I really remember this movie for. It's just some of the best action we've seen in the MCU. MCU, it's every single action is just quick cuts, shake the cam a lot, and once you start to notice that, it really just makes it hard to pay attention to these fights and become entertained with them. But Shang-Chi Shang-Chi was just beautiful, beautifully done. Some of the set pieces were just really amazing. I love uh dang, I forgot the name of the city. Was Ta Lo? What is it called at the end? The city? I forgot because I've not seen this movie in a while. But the city, beautiful. I love the Chinese mythology about it. And then I really love the final fight with him with the Ten Rings versus the actual Mandarin. It was all just really cool. And Shang-Chi, I feel like Shang-Chi is just, I feel like we said a lot during Phase 4, but it was one of the good times they did something different and it really paid off for the most part. I love Shang-Chi. I can always rewatch it.
So my number three is Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Um, this movie was great.
Oh, now it's
I
great.
feel like it was great. It was a nice little 9 out of 10. Um, I feel like this movie and Shang-Chi, which I'll eventually talk about, I have like the same issue, and it's just the Marvel formula. That's it. That's really my only
Uh-huh.
issue. And then of
Is
course
it?
Namor is garbage. That's all I gotta say.
It seems to me like you just don't like people of color. You have the same issue with Black Panther as you do with Shang-Chi. You just don't
No,
like people of color?
no.
Okay.
So let's
Number
move on,
2, Black Panther Wakanda
bitch.
Forever. What? Number 2, Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Anyway, yeah, Ryan, like I said before, Ryan Coogler did an amazing job here as a story about how a country can move forward, how a country and its people can move forward with grief and the passing of their king. And it gives the cast members enough time to grieve and well, not give them enough time to grieve, but like you could see in their performances them grieving. And it allows the audience to connect with those powerful performances and grieve along with them. We all feel it. We all feel the energy. We all feel the presence of T'Challa not being there, Mr. Chadwick Boseman not being there. So it just feels different when you're watching a movie. When we went to go see Wakanda Forever, it was like a funeral, basically. But I walked out of there happy. I loved the end credit scene with them showing T'Challa had a son named T'Challa. Overall, man, Wakanda Forever, I walked out of it saying I really liked it. Now I love it. I really love this movie. It's not better than the first film, just like Doctor Strange. But all in all, bro, Namor was good. Ryan Coogler's direction, the writing, all of it just seems like a perfect sequel to the first film. Easily one of the best MCU films for me.
Coming in mind, number two is also Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Now, all the way back in some video, I don't remember which one, but this was the movie I was worried about. This was the
I remember.
movie. This is the movie where I was like, all right, if they do not nail this movie in almost every way, then it's just gonna feel kind of disrespectful. But
Bruh.
going into watching this movie, no, I was very pleasantly surprised. Just from the Marvel title sequence and the opening of this movie, you could just feel the emotion. Like during the opening, the entire theater is just silent. Like you can really tell that just sets the stage. Like this is gonna be an emotional send off for Chadwick. But I like how the whole movie wasn't just about sadness. Like it was also about like dealing with it and moving on. Just the whole movie, it was like 2 hours and 40 minutes. That breezes past so much. It come maybe in the during the second act, like you can kind of feel it, but for the most part, you do not notice how long this movie is because it's just that entertaining the whole time. From everything from Namor to Talokan, Namor being one of the best villains in the MCU. Ryan Coogler does it again with like he did with Killmonger. Namor and his whole culture of Talokan and how it was rewritten to be about what happened to the Mayan and Aztec culture. It's just all beautifully done in this movie. It really does feel like a send off for Chadwick. And Ryan Coogler, he had the hardest job to do. His lead died, and he had to just restructure the entire movie, and he still came out and nailed an almost perfect movie. And it's
How, bro?
like he somehow created this movie that everyone's gonna remember. He created an amazing villain, And it's just Black Panther 2. This is cinema. Like this is an amazing movie.
So my number two is Spider-Man. No, I'm just joking. It's Shang-Chi, the Legend of
Haha, nobody's
Shang-Chi
laughing, bro.
and the Legend of the Ten Rings. So Shang-Chi is what you get when you mix amazing martial arts with Marvel, something that I've always wanted. And boom, we got this. It's funny, it's beautiful, the action is amazing, the characters are lovable, and the villain is cool. And then also some cultural diversity in there too. This movie is amazing. I remember when the movie first ended, like right as the credits rolled, Jonathan looked back at me and said, "That was kind of fire," and we dapped each other up, and I said, "Hell yeah, that
Uh,
was fire."
that movie was lit. That movie was lit.
This movie was lit, bro. It was finally after so much dragging in the dirt, finally we could look up at a masterpiece. Maybe not a
And
masterpiece,
then
but
to
like
just get
a
weeks after that,
9.5
more
out of
dragging
10.
through the dirt.
A nice 9.5 out of 10 to just
We
just pull us through the garbage of the
a
next
couple
few
weeks after
weeks.
that, we didn't have that much trash. We had Venom, Let There Be Carnage. We had Eternals come out, No Way
It
Home.
only good one. Yeah, next few weeks of garbage, and then we got to No Way Home. But besides that, my only issue with this movie is, I mean, the dragon fight was cool, but I kind of
Dragon
wish we
fight
got
was
something else.
lit.
The dragon fight was lit. It was lit. It was lit. But I wish that we would have got like a full on, no shaky cam, just 1v1, full on 1v1 hand to hand combat. That's what I wanted to see. But you got to do what you got to do. And yeah, that's why Shang-Chi is at my number two spot.
Coming in at my number one, obviously, and I guess this is all of our number ones. At least we agree on something here. Spider-Man: No Way Home, a true love letter to Spider-Man fans. Man, it's a triumph on every single level. I, bro, I can't rave about this movie enough. Honestly, I mean, I love it. Really, the first act is dumb. It's stupid. I don't think that they handled that first act very well. The writing was just awful in that first act. But the second
Nice
act and
chat.
third act, when they get when they get into true Spider-Man stuff, the death of Aunt May, the triumphant returns of the two Spider-Men, Andrew and Toby, the brutalness of Green Goblin, the brutality of Green Goblin, it was just all of it was just amazing, man, and just delivered an MCU Spider-Man film that I've wanted to see in the MCU for years now. It ends in a way that makes you go, this is Spider-Man. This is what Spider-Man's supposed to be. And I tell you guys, that theater, the whole atmosphere, obviously you guys were there. When you see him open up that window and he just jumps out into the snowy night and do that one final swing, I think everybody in that room felt the energy. Finally, we have a Spider-Man.
Come on now, Spider-Man: No Way Home. Everybody knew that. Basically knew that this was coming. That the day everybody walked out of that theater, it's like, yeah, this is the peak right here. This is peak. Every every single act in this movie, for me, even the first one, I just love it. No, I feel like Marvel will never reach another time of this period leading up to the movie. Just all these hype and speculation and leaks and everybody just theorizing and theorizing all the way up into the day movie. And then
Secret Wars could try.
things that you never expected them to do. If you would have told me years ago, being like, yeah, they're gonna have all three Spider-Man, they're gonna have Green Goblin, from some Raimi trilogy, they're gonna have Electro, they're gonna have I forgot the freaking name, not Killer Crocodile, the Lizard, all in one movie, three Spider-Man all going against villains. Like I would not have believed you, but they actually did it. And coming out the end of this movie, just the sadness, but also that like uplifting thing where he's Spider-Man. No Way Home, the way it ends, it really just make you sad in retrospect and be like, this whole Spider-Man in the MCU was his origin story. We didn't see his origin story because this was him becoming the Spider-Man that we all know and love. That Spider-Man who's got no friends, he's got no tech, no money. He's just on his own with a police scanner in his hand knit suit. Like that's what I wanted from Spider-Man this whole time. And I love what they did with Tom Holland in the MCU. But this is Spider-Man. And this whole movie, everything from Doctor Strange to the whole multiverse cameos from it, I've never heard a theater cheer harder for than when Andrew Garfield showed up. Not even in Infinity War, maybe Endgame, maybe Endgame, Cap picking up the hammer. But the fact that just a Spider-Man
Not
movie
even then.
do that, it's just insane. No Way Home is it's one of the best Marvel movies. And if somebody told me it was their favorite or best Marvel movie, I would be like, it could be. This No Way Home is something different.
No Way Home is one of the highest heights that Marvel has reached, and is probably the highest height that the character has ever reached. And I believe that this movie sets the path for something greater. I sound like Matt Ramos right here, but I mean it's just purely cinema. This is one of the greatest movies that I think I've ever seen. It may not be the greatest, but I love it so much because I love Spider-Man so much, and I'm just so glad that we got what we've been wanting for years and years and years.
So I mean, my list: Thor: Love and Thunder, Eternals, Black Widow, Shang Chi, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, Wakanda Forever, and Spider Man: No Way Home. If you guys want to say your list, round it up or
I got Black Widow, Eternals, Thor, Multiverse of Madness, Shang-Chi, Black Panther 2, and No Way Home on top.
Black Widow, Eternals, Thor: Love and Thunder, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and Spider-Man: No Way Home.
all right. All right, so that is it for the ranking, guys. Comment down below if you have made it this far. Your very own ranking of all phase 4 MCU films, ranked uh from least best to best, I guess. Just like we did, or you can do it however list you want to. With that being said, like, comment, and subscribe, and we are the regular podcast. We'll see you all next time.